Hey everybody, this is Us for Listed on Gaming with episode 3, match number 5, with Sultai Teachings in Modern. This deck is based around Wilderness Reclamation and untapping with Cryptic Command and Mystical Teachings. You have various cards to help get you there in the form of Remand, Growth Spy, Roll Op to help you filter through your deck, Remand and Logic Knot to help counter spells, Snapcaster Mage, a bunch of random removal spells like Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, Devour Flesh in the main deck, in addition to Pulse of Morasso to buy back lands and Snapcaster Mages, and Creeping Tar Pits, along with Blue Sun Zenith as kind of your win cons, and then Blue Sun Zenith and Nexus of Fate as kind of your heavy hitters off Mystical Teachings chains. In order to pull ahead in the game, Nexus of Fate allows you to take multiple turns. In addition, with Wilderness Reclamation, you can also end the game with Blue Sun Zenith, get all 3 Wilderness Reclamations to play, get a bunch of mana, Blue Sun Zenith your opponent out, or you can Blue Sun Zenith your entire deck with nothing but Nexus of Fate and Blue Sun Zenith. Take a bunch of turns, infinitely beat your opponent down. Beyond that, the sideboard has a bunch of 1-ofs and fun-ofs to work against various decks. Harmonious Rejection against anything colorless, Tron, Hardened Scales, 4-color Whir, and so on and so forth. So, deck we've been working on playing. This is match number 5 in this league, so let's get it rolling. This deck does take a while to win, so. Alright, Sand's perfectly acceptable. Got Ghost Rival, we've got some interaction. Got a Mystical Teachings. So. 2 basics, a little bit awkward, but this allows us to get a black source, so. Alright, this might be Ad Nausem. Ad Nauseum's probably not the best matchup for us. Confirmed. Ad Nauseum. Pass with that. Remains a decent draw here. To see if our opponent decides to go for it here. I think we... Go ahead and Teachings here. Let's let this resolve. We can trophy it. Still hold up Remand next turn. So we're in an okay spot, but we're not like fantastic by any means. Opponent's sitting on 3 mana, sure. Spoils of the Vault. Alright, let Spoils resolve. Could be wrong here. Alright, so what'd they name? Sure. Gonna cast Snapcaster Mage at end of turn here. Put Lethal Pressure into play. Then they'll have to cast Grace. And opponent concedes. Alright. So, Ad Nauseum. Copies of Dispel. Copy of Ceremonious Rejection. That. Surgical extraction. Fracturing gust, maybe. That's a definite maybe. Spell snare. Let's see here. Good old Stormy Daniels and her lawyer there, but mainly because I'm looking up ad nauseam. So, nauseam tendrils. Sure, there's not like any. I guess they could be bringing in like Godhead of Awe or something stupid. So I think we just bring in counter spells, leave in like a Devour Flesh and an Assassin's Trophy. I didn't want to leave in Devour Flesh. Probably not. I feel like this is just going to be the good old-fashioned counterspell fight. Their deck doesn't do much searching. Guess a one of... What else would I... Guess definitely leaving in Field of Ruin. Take out an Opt, try it like that. Basically, this deck just comes down to not ever tapping out in a key moment once they can cast Ad Nauseam with either Angel's Grace or having Phyrexian Unlife in play. So, cannot keep his hand. Not enough lands, pretty much. This hand's okay. Really want to find some type of interaction though. Whether it be, alright, Lotus Blooms, we're on a 3-turn clock basically. I feel slighted. So, grab Breeding Pool off this, have Growth Spiral for next turn. Now, this isn't necessarily the best timing, but I just want my F6 value before I have to infinitely pass with all mana available. With a ton of cantrips. This is one of the matchups where Vendilion Click would obviously be a very key draw. Cards on top. So we're fighting this fight now because this forces them to use a Pact of Negation if they have it. Alright. So now what we can do is we can Teachings. In response for this Lotus Bloom, we'll Teachings for Ceremonious Rejection. Alright, so good chance we're dead. You have the combo? Yep. Looks like you do in fact have the combo. Let's see how they sideboarded. So the problem with the controlling matchup for this side, the controlling matchup is just they're very good at punching holes and using Pact of Negation to kind of fight through this nonsense. I'll go ahead and concede rather than show you any more information. Alright, so doesn't look like they have any creatures in besides the main card. Obstructionist could actually be pretty decent in spots here. Let's just go ahead and resubmit here. Assassin's Trophy and Abrupt Decay can be used to attack their mana situation. I'm leaving Field of Ruin in case they have Boseiju. Some of the builds in the past have had Boseiju in it. This hand's okay. Tar Pit's fine. Gives our 4th land drop. Maybe it's possible I should have boarded out Pulse here. Probably means they're light on land drops. Pass. See what they do with the Serum Visions here. Two cards on top. See what we can find here. Hand's not terrible. Cryptic Command is even better. I mean, sure. Kind of weird timing for Thoughtseize. Take Remand. Alright. Doesn't really do a whole lot here. Alright, so we basically can't ever afford to take down our counter wall now. Alright, sure. Do you have Pact of Negation backup? I mean, you know I have the Cryptic Command, so I'm presuming we're dead here? Yep. Well, good old Ad Nauseam being a miserable matchup for control decks. So deck obviously still pretty solid, but there are certain matchups, people can punch holes in what you're doing. Or if they're good at getting around counter spells, the deck can be kind of weak in the combo matchups. Like Storm, you have a little bit more play against, because obviously you can kill their mana dorks and you can nuke their graveyard. Ad Nauseam, problem is they have free counter spells, so your remands and cryptic commands and even just to a lesser extent dispels just get overpowered by pact of negations, which your opponent's usually packing 3 or 4. And then once they assemble the combo, we got a little bit lucky game 1 to win. They obviously took a little bit of a gamble with that Spoils of the Vault, but sometimes you have to get a little bit lucky as the Ad Nauseam player. The deck does have a certain fail rate, like if you don't find your Ad Nauseam, but 3 and 2, pretty solid for a deck that I'm still working on learning. So this has been Dust for Dustin on Gaming. Hope you're enjoying the content. If you do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.